It's Wednesday morning. We're midway through the week. We have some great stories for you to enjoy today. Let's take a look.
Today, Brian Holman is at the International Grains Program at Kansas State, visiting with Ezekiel, a grain buyer from Central America, and Jason, a U.S. feed manufacturer. Learn about their experiences at IGP and how the courses there helped them to do their jobs. Then Brian visits with Les at the Pioneer Test Farm in Lawrence about their soybean research. Plus, he gets an update on tolerance issues with Roundup Ready soybeans.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Association of Wheat Growers and the Kansas Wheat Commission. Together, we are Kansas Wheat.
Thanks for joining us this morning on the show.
Thanks to you, Brian.
Welcome to Kansas. First time to Kansas?
Yes.
Well, welcome to Kansas. We're glad to have you here. Buying grain nowadays is difficult at best. Demand is high, supplies seem to be a little bit lower. Transportation being an issue and everything that goes into it. What are you learning at IGP?
Well, I think we're learning a lot of the basis, how is the technicals and the fundamentals, and also the market, how is approaching to make these changes on the market. And well, in our company, we started with this tradition. This is our second visit because the sub-manager of the area came here the last year, and I'm the manager of the area. And I came here this year because it is very interesting topic for us. Mm-hmm. We have learned a lot of how to trade grains from the U.S., how to move them, which are our rights, which are the things that we must put on the contracts, mm-hmm. how to work with the futures, with the basis, and I think this is a good start for knowing the rules of the game. Mm-hmm.
Do you buy a lot of U.S. grains?
Yes, well, maybe not for the U.S., but in Central America we're a big player. We almost buy 50,000 tons a year, so it is a good volume for our economy.
Mm-hmm. As you continue to look at U.S. grains, what are some of the things that, when you look at U.S. grains, that you're kind of surprised about as far as the quality or the overall experience of buying U.S. grains?
Well, in fact, we have been working since the beginning with big grain suppliers. Mm-hmm. So in this matter, we haven't had surprises. We have been coached by these big groups in the States. So we have been take care of this matter. So it is not a big surprise. It is only to know also the rules that they are playing and what they are talking to talk the same language, right?
The demand for grains across the world, is it continuing to grow?
Does that continue, sorry?
Does the demand for grains across the world, does it continue to grow? Are you having issues buying grains?
This year, yes. Yes, we made this different origination, right? Because the quality of the U.S. grains was not enough for our process. So we made the other on South America originations, but also with these players, with the big American companies. So it has been difficult to have more grains, but we have well, just increase our inventories. That is financially having some troubles with that, but we need to assume that risk, right?
And what do you buy grains for? What is your end product?
Well, we manufacture snacks, so like the Cheetos type or churritos. Well, that's something extruded products that we produce, and tortillas, nachos, and everything that has to be related with the corn. Yeah.
So you use lots and lots of corn.
Yeah, that's our first raw material. Yeah.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Roy Fry Western Lifestyles brings the cowboy or cowgirl out in all of us. With a huge selection of must-have items, it doesn't matter if you're shopping for your horse, picking up some Western accessories to add that rustic charm to your home, or simply treating yourself. The knowledge and expertise to dress you your Western best is right here at Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, Highway 24 and Kansas Avenue in Topeka.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas, or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel, or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
Jason, thanks for joining us this morning on the show. Welcome back to Kansas.
Thank you very much.
It's a little different part of the state, but welcome back to the state. IGP, taking a grain buying class here at IGP. Being a feed manufacturer, how important is it that you continue to buy quality grains over and over and over again?
Oh, it's essential to the business. If we don't put out a good product, our customers will find somebody who will, and then we won't have customers anymore. So we are learning every day that we need to continue to develop even the suppliers we have to give us a good product, which is why we're here.
Right. Supplies nowadays, I mean, we talk about the drought that has been prevalent here in the state of Kansas over the last 3 years. A lot of corn and beans grown here. How difficult is it to buy grains nowadays?
It's getting more and more difficult, and we actually do both organic and conventional feeds. So the organic piece is getting exponentially more difficult as we've had droughts and other economy changes that have come up. But it's getting pretty aggressive because we're all looking for the good product between myself and my competitors, and droughts aren't helping us.
Let's talk about organic for a second. Okay. What makes a grain organic?
It has to be raised basically without any GMOs, so genetically modified organisms, and it can't use any pesticides. You know, it really just has to be planted in the ground and then let it go until you cultivate it and ship it off for consumption.
Nowadays that seems to be pretty difficult at best, and I don't know much about the organic side of things, so how difficult is it to buy that grain?
That is exceptionally difficult. You're right, it is hard to do today. The yield is less than a conventional feed. So farmers tend to shy away from it, even though it is more expensive for me to purchase so they can sell it at a higher price, but it still doesn't equate. So we are having to turn actually outside of the U.S. for much of our organic product, which creates a whole other set of challenges because they don't have the great standards that we have here in the U.S. So we have to kind of go case by case with folks.
Is there a demand for organic feeds in the U.S.?
Yes, there's a huge demand. It's been a growing segment of the population for about the last 10 years. So much so that we're building a new feed mill at this time that'll handle just organic feeds. And we haven't built a new mill in 40 years. So this is an expanding proposition for us and others in the country as well.
Now, there's kind of two aspects to your business, feed manufacturing and also the livestock side of things.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The livestock side, it's kind of nice because we do have within house our largest purchaser of our feeds is ourselves. But the livestock side will contract out with many different growers to raise various species of chickens and turkeys, and it is used quite often throughout the northeast of the U.S., where our product will go. And it's in high demand because we do tend to put out, we do put out a good product.
Now, is it an organic product also, or kind of 50-50? We
do both. Actually, right now, we're about 60-40 to organic. And that has been recent. A lot of it is organic turkeys. Organic turkeys is a huge segment that has been growing exponentially as people don't want to have what they feel are additives in their foods nearly as much. They want an all-natural organic turkey.
So I guess what I'm hearing you say is this is pretty much driven by on the consumer side more than anything else.
Yes, it's 100% consumer driven. If the consumer was not there, we would be continuing along the conventional or growth that we've used in feeds for the last 50, 60 years.
Growing? I mean, is that segment growing or is it kind of staying stable?
The non-organic segment is growing, but at a much slower pace than the organic segment. Organics are, it's exponential at this point. It's hard to keep up with demand as fast as it's growing. And you have the end purchasers of your Whole Foods and things, they are also growing and getting bigger, and you see more of their stores. It's just kind of sweeping the nation, as they might say.
Well, it's kind of like farmers markets. I mean, everybody wants to touch, smell, and feel before they cook and eat, I guess you might say.
Yes, it's exactly that same proposition.
Yeah. Well, Jason, thank you for your time today.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
In the last 3 years, we've changed some things in our AI protocol, one of which was the use of multi-min. We've seen a significant increase in our AI pregnancy rate. The cost of an embryo program is significant, and we feel that if we were able to even get one more pregnancy out of a cow, that would pay for the whole cost of the whole bottle of multi-min right there.
Get ready for the Kicker Country Stampede presented by Verizon Wireless, starring Jason Aldean, 3 seconds. 4 days of camping and country music at Country Stampede, Little Big Town. The Pistol Annies featuring Ashley Monroe, Miranda Lambert, and Angelina Presley. Country Stampede. Take advantage of our current pricing. Advanced pricing for a 4-day ticket is $135. Prices go up June 26. More info at countrystampede.com.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Now another gardening tip with Annette Jackson.
For the greenest, healthiest, weed-free lawn in your neighborhood, the Fertilome Lawn Care program is the best. Fertilome Lawn Care products provide your lawn with the exact ingredients for proper fertilization and weed prevention. Jackson's friendly staff will call you and let you know when to apply the next step. We can also do it for you, so call or stop in now.
The Fertilome Lawn Care program is still available at last year's prices, but hurry, time is limited.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Thanks for staying with us. This is a commercial break. We're in Lawrence, Kansas. We're out at the Pioneer Test Farm, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Les, thanks for joining us this morning. I really appreciate it. Weird weather, but anyways, we've got to move indoors this morning to visit with us. You guys spend a lot of time doing research on soybeans here in the state of Kansas. Drought has kind of dominated the news here in the farming communities the last couple of years. What's Pioneer doing to help farmers in drought situations?
Sure, Brian. The soybean research facility here in Lawrence, Kansas, we were started in 2007. And so we actually bring local soybean research to the Kansas area. So one of our main focuses is actually drought research as well. So we do some managed drought work down in the Hutchinson area. So we use drip tape and things like that to be able to apply specific stresses during the time, so like a flowering type stress or a pod fills type stress, which allows us to really see how those new varieties react under those different situations. Because as farmers would know, no two droughts are alike. So sometimes they hit early, sometimes they hit late, and those varieties need to be able to handle all those types. So drought is a big part of what we do. And then generally, since we're in Kansas, we're able to breed for and test products in all these regions. So all the products that come out of Lawrence have seen drought many times before, and they're much better suited to adapt to those.
What about the relationship between Pioneer and Kansas State University? I'm sure that's a close-knit one.
We have research contacts. You know, the soybean breeder at Kansas State, you know, we know them and work with them. We actually use quite a few of their students as interns in the summertime. So there's a nice relationship just in leveraging students and knowledge.
What about input from farmers? Is that important as you're starting to create new brands of seeds? I mean, do you bring farmers in, kind of sit down and talk, hey, what are your needs? How are your needs different from one side of the state to the other? Does Pioneer do that?
Absolutely. I guess, you know, as a soybean breeder, as any breeder, the biggest criteria is you have to know your environment. Okay, so you've got to know your environment to develop varieties for that, and a big part of that is getting out and understanding what those issues are that farmers have, and so you know, building relationships with cooperators to know what issues they're dealing with. Pioneer has a great sales team as well, so we get a lot of information about what those sales teams see as issues with customers, and that filters back and really sort of molds how we do or what type of targets we're looking for.
Well, one side of the state is completely different from the other side of the state. I mean, in the west we could have severe drought. In the northeast, where we're located at here in Lawrence today, could be completely different. We could have an abundance of rain.
Right.
So, I mean, there's really a lot going on in the state, and you guys kind of have to be on top of all of that.
Absolutely. Actually, Kansas is a very diverse environment compared to maybe central Illinois, where you know, yields are consistently positive and high. In Kansas, you can be you know, 10 bushels like we had this year, all the way up to 90 plus in irrigated environments. And so, as a breeder, you've got to be able to manage that and capitalize on it. And I think Kansas offers those opportunities. So we can really test in drought-prone environments. So we've got lots of dry land sites that are just rain-fed. We really can test that stress. And then we've got our irrigated, excellent environments where we can always push the limits on yield on the upper end. And that interplay is really a key in success.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Roundup Ready and maybe some exciting news in that side of things. You're watching Ag AM in Kansas, and we'll see you in just a minute.
Golf Week calls it the best course you can play in Kansas. But once you play, you'll want to stay. Go for it. Firekeeper Golf Course at Prairie Band Casino and Resort is just north of Topeka off Highway 75. Our stay and play package is worth the trip. Luxury hotel room, green fees, and golf cart for two, starting at just $169.
Prairie Band Casino and Resort. Go for it.
This is the fast track to more jobs and America's energy independence. Advanced performance is here now. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, Family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need.
Ag AM in Kansas is brought to you in part by Premier Farm and Home. Stop by or visit us at haycow.com.
Thanks for staying with us through the break, Les. Thanks for staying with us, and thanks for having us this morning. When the Roundup Ready bean hit the market, I mean, it really changed farming, soybean farming. But now that we've got some tolerance issues going on and things like that, where are you guys at in that process?
Absolutely. You're exactly right. When Roundup Ready soybeans hit the market in the late 90s, that really changed the way farmers actually manage soybeans. It really meant big changes. Weed control was no longer the primary issue because we can handle that through glyphosate applications. Today, there are tolerance issues that show up. There's glyphosate resistance out there, and farmers are starting to look for alternatives. We do have exciting news from Pioneer that Pioneer has a new licensing agreement with Monsanto regarding Roundup Ready 2 and the Extend technology, which would be dicamba tolerance. We also have licenses with Dow for the Enlist technology, which would be 2,4-D tolerance. So what it really means to farmers is not necessarily the specific technologies, but it means options. So as these issues become more prevalent in farmers' fields, there are going to be options that Pioneer is able to deliver to farmers for different chemistries to control those weeds again. So what we'd like to do is return to just the simple management of weeds that are very effective. And so really it's all about the options that farmers are able to have.
Well, you know, when every drop of water counts, managing weeds is extremely important.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. You know, weed resistance is a big problem. It's a growing problem, and so it's really important for farmers to control those weeds and great use of pre-emerge herbicides, in-season timely applications are really important to consistently getting those higher yields.
Well, why Lawrence, Kansas? I mean, it's a great location. You can get to anywhere kind of in the state, even into Missouri and other states. Why Lawrence? Why did you pick Lawrence?
Absolutely. It actually would seem like we should be a little bit further west, maybe towards Kansas State. Actually, I went to K-State, so big Wildcat fan. But we're in Lawrence because actually Lawrence is central to the soybean region in this area of the world. So eastern Kansas and western Missouri there are a lot of soybean acres in that area, and Lawrence is central to that. So we actually cover all of Kansas. So we go all the way, we go west out towards Great Bend, Concordia, Wichita, and then all the way into central Missouri and southern Missouri, and that's sort of our envelope of environments that we test in. So we develop new products, and those products then go out to all those environments, and we test them and make sure they're the right things. Pioneer does a great job selling with right product, right acre, which is making sure the right soybean variety goes in the right acre. That really starts at the research level, where we advance and create products that are specifically suited to the Kansas environment. So Kansas farmers are, it's nice to have a research facility here that's developing varieties for their needs.
Well, if you go to a nursery, any nursery, and you buy plants for your zone, not every plant that we buy that would be sold here would grow somewhere else. And soybeans kind of the same way. Yeah. Not every seed that you guys produce will grow everywhere across the U.S. I mean, you guys really spend a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort in ensuring right seed, right acre.
Absolutely. Right. Different varieties have different characteristics like anything. So you've got different disease tolerance packages, just different productivity. So you might take a variety that was developed in eastern Ohio, not necessarily going to work well in Kansas. Same thing with central Illinois. Those are just different environments, and so it's really important that researchers do, and that's what we do. So we actually develop and create these new products, and they're created for this environment. That then when we sell it to customers, they have the confidence that it's the best product that they can buy and produce.
Perfect. Les, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
It's very nice to meet you.
Yep, no problem.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
We'll have plenty more for you tomorrow here on Ag AM in Kansas. We're here every weekday, same time, same station. Or look for us on the web at agaminkansas.com. Eric Atkinson here for K-State Research and Extension.